332 is en route from the station for a possible overdose. Get back up, please.
So I went into her bedroom and I found the needle and the spoon and thought I would die. My name is Janice McGrory and I live here on Cape Cod, and I am here to tell you about my daughter Liz's story.
I remember nights being cold. I remember nights being hungry. I remember nights sleeping in a cardboard box. I remember nights where crying myself to sleep at night thinking, like, what happened in my life? My name's Christoph Pidenkowski. I'm a certified counselor. I'm a certified interventionist. I'm also a recovery coaching supervisor.
There's an opioid issue throughout the country right now. So Barnstable is not isolated in the fact that we have an opioid issue. My name is Sergeant Jason Labor. I've been a police officer for 21 years. I've been here in Barnstable since 1999, but I started my policing career in New Bedford in '96.
I was really talented at a sport. At a young age, at 13, I had made the junior national team playing soccer. It was really my passion. I got to travel all over Europe. And my goal was to take my family, who worked so hard, and play professional sports and get them out of where we lived and to give them everything that they deserve, because they had sacrificed so much for me.
My daughter Liz was a cheerleader, soccer player, basketball player. She was an honor roll student. She graduated 10th in her class. She had a full boat scholarship to Johnson & Wales in Rhode Island. She was addicted to Oxycontin.
I had started using drugs at a young age, like maybe 13 or 14, really for no other reason that like I wanted to be accepted, that like I wanted people to like me. I wasn't medicating a mental health issue. I wasn't medicating trauma. It was like I wanted people to respect me and like me. So it was like I started with alcohol and marijuana and then progressed to using intravenous heroin. And I remember when I started even trying marijuana, I remember knowing in my heart that I didn't want to do it. I remember knowing that it was wrong and that it could mess up what I was working so hard for, but I wanted to fit in. And I say that all the time in high school, is that like sometimes we open a door that we can't close. And I opened a door thinking that I'd be okay, and the train left the station and I couldn't slow it down.
She started experimenting with pills. You know, you're a sophomore in high school, you're a kid in high school, you're a risk taker, you want to try different things, and she made the bad judgment call to try that first pill. She graduated from high school, and a friend called to say that Liz was shooting heroin. So I went into her bedroom and I found the needle and the spoon, and just thought I would die. She was driving a car, she was a danger, so I had to appeal to the courts to protect her. So I had her thrown in jail. And the police came to my house, put her in shackles, and they put her in the back of a police cruiser. It was so difficult to visit my daughter in jail, yet I knew that she was alive and she wasn't going to die that night from an overdose.
I hitchhiked around the country, I rode trains, I was living in shelters. I remember nights being cold, I remember nights being hungry, I remember nights sleeping in a cardboard box, I remember nights where crying myself to sleep at night thinking, like, what happened in my life? And I ran far away for my family because I was so embarrassed about what had happened to me. And I didn't really know what happened to me, and all I knew was that I couldn't stop, you know? So I'd failed out of 4 colleges, and I was in and out of detoxes, prisons. I had tried killing myself, and I didn't want to live anymore.
Finding just a simple solution is a real hard thing to do, and it's not really the responsibility of any one organization. It's not just the responsibility of the police department, it's the responsibility of the community. There are multiple solutions that we can try. So you have police work. We can do a number of things. We can make arrests, we can do narcotic investigations, community-oriented services, try and figure out where the problems lie. Typically what we do is we make arrests and then we rely on other parts of the criminal justice system. You know, the court systems, it's the incarceration, the jails, and then after that you got probation, parole. So if there's a breakdown in any one of those systems, it kind of makes it difficult for us to really adequately deal with the drug problem.
I took her into her pediatrician to get her tested, and somehow she beat all the drug tests. I let her go to school. She made the dean's list as a drug addict, so she was kind of functioning. Then she disappeared to continue with her drug habit, and that was the end of her college life. And then she just started living with people and doing drugs and calling me only when she needed something. She went in and out of detoxes. She went to jail a couple times. She would get out and then start using all over again. I thought that once you go into detox, you come out and you're cured. You just go on with your life as any other kid would who made a mistake. But it wasn't that easy for her because her body got used to that drug.
I didn't like myself, you know? I didn't like who I'd become. Everyone in society really reaffirmed how I felt about myself, that I wasn't worth being alive and being in recovery. I would go into hospitals, sick, you know, bleeding, homeless, hungry, and I'd ask for help, and then here comes the junkie again. And I don't know how I survived. I had overdosed 13 times. I ended up, you know, coming to Gosnell, and I remember this guy in a suit came in, and he hit me on the shoulder, and he told me everything was going to be all right.
She was homeless, and she would do anything to get money to get that drug. I stopped giving her money, and I told her, you can't come back to this house, Liz, doing drugs, so you have to go and figure this out. And that was, I think, the hardest thing that a mom has to do, is to tell a child that she can't go home.
When you're homeless for a long time, you start to feel like an inanimate object. My counselor believed in me and ignited that little flicker of humanness in me to make me believe in myself again and make me feel like a human being again.
She called me on a Monday to say that she was leaving a rehab facility, and she left with a bunch of scripts. And that Thursday, I got a phone call from the police department saying they had found her dead in somebody's apartment. And she was 23 years old. She had a whole beautiful life ahead of her because she was smart. She was, you know, cute as a button, and yeah, that drug just took over her life.